Hello, and welcome to prompt number 89. Don't forget that we are doing prompt entries at the end of the video, so you guys can join in with that. Let's see what this week's prompt is. We have 4: carpenter, handcuffs, dollhouse, and mask. Ooh, do I have ideas? I might. Here we go. So this prompt was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions for me. It started off really tough. I haven't worked on a prompt since before my trip abroad, so it's been over a month and I think I was quite rusty. As you can see, there are 4 prompts, 4 very different prompts, and although I had quite a few ideas at first, those ideas didn't really translate well for me into illustrations, I guess. I just wasn't liking any of them that I put down in pencil. The ideas were cute, they were silly. I started off with a baby playing with her dad, I guess playing cops and robbers like he was a giant robbing this dollhouse, and then I just didn't really like it, so I moved on to a dollhouse where there's a kinky Barbie getting ready to have some fun times with a carpenter in the house, and then as much as I wanted to do that idea, it was just going to be another isometric house, which is something that I often do. So I played around with a carpenter, messing around with a Barbie that maybe was alive, and I don't know. So I sketched a Barbie with items. So when it came to penciling the prompt, I actually ended up going with the idea of that girl reaching into the Barbie house, but I didn't like it, so I scrapped it and decided to go with something really, I guess, on the simple side. Because when I really struggle with prompts like this, I think it's just best to do something that I really feel comfortable with and just ending up with something that I like rather than hating myself and having you guys listen to me complain. So this is what I ended up with. When I looked back at my prompt sketches, I saw that very last little doodle in the very bottom corner of just a Barbie with the different carpenter tools. And that's where I got the idea to just create, I guess, a fake mock-up of I need to stop saying Barbie and start saying doll. A mock-up of a doll that is packaged with different items and things. And I just thought it would be really fun to play around with that really simple idea because it's not something I've done. And I think it's really fun when people do character designs and they have all of their little items and stuff that really show their personality. So that is what I ended up with. As you can see, I've been penciling the images. So as you can see, I decided to create 2 dolls, one of myself because I was just a little self-indulgent, and I also had to create a second doll that had, of course, all of the prompts in it because this is the prompt series. So I cannot wait to talk about that second doll because she's something. She's something. Because I was one of the dolls, I figured it would be a series of dolls that were not the usual dolls. You know, like Barbie is just pretty girl. I guess she's a stay-at-home mom. Well, I don't know. I guess Barbie does everything, doesn't she? Okay, so if I were in a set of dolls, I would be in a set of dolls of just weirdos. So obviously I am the YouTuber artist doll. And the other doll, I don't know why I named her Violet, but I named her Violet. I think it was an excuse to make myself use the color purple because I hate it, but I want to use it more. So Violet, she is created to be a carpenter, obviously because one of the prompts is carpenter. She's wearing an overall skirt because I wanted to give her an overall because she's a carpenter, but I wanted to make her cute because that's what we do here. She has a dollhouse with her because she's a carpenter and she made a dollhouse, which is kind of funny because she's a doll and she also made a even smaller dollhouse. She's got her mask, which if you didn't notice is a ski mask. Why does she have a ski mask, you ask? Ask mask. Well, she's also got handcuffs, if you also didn't notice. So Violet is no ordinary carpenter, no. Violet, I mean, look at the look in her eyes. She looks a little crazy, doesn't she? I don't know if I can trust someone that has crazy bushy hair like that and a look in her eyes that looks murderous. Wink wonk. Okay, I'll say it. Violet's a murderer. So Violet is a carpenter by day. She has a little shop where she makes dollhouses and toys and trinkets, and no one is the wiser. At night, she goes out and she murders people. She puts on a ski mask and she breaks into people's houses and she murders them. Hey, it's October. We're gonna do some spooky things this month. Well, I mean, I say that, but let's be honest, I create crazy, bloody stories any time of the year. That's just what we do here, isn't it? So when I was originally penciling these dolls, I started with myself and I had the logo and the packaging and everything over my doll. It was as if I was drawing a packaged doll, and then I got the idea to make that a separate piece and connect it later on so that it kind of gave a 3D effect that these were actually packaged dolls. Now, if I had even more time, I would have went the extra step, cut out me, all of my little objects, including Violet and her objects, cut those out, and also glued them to a different piece of paper to make them look like they were 3D and packaged separately. But there's one thing I don't like in this world, and it's cutting out teeny tiny little objects. It is the worst. So I decided to settle with just putting shadows that made it look like they were 3D things, which is fine because that's not the name of the game. The name of the game is to just take the prompts and make an illustration. It's not necessarily to create a doll mock-up. Sure, extra effort would have been pretty cool, but I'm actually really happy with how this prompt turned out. I was a little worried that it was going to be just a sort of cop-out, simple illustration, but what I do find really interesting about this prompt and what just made me really think about this prompt series in general is even though I started off with this illustration thinking that I was copying out with a really simple idea, I wasn't doing anything to push myself, it was just some characters with objects, which wasn't very interesting. But what I ended up doing was creating a sort of faux packaging around an illustration that is just not something that I normally would do if I weren't doing this prompt series. If I were just doing my own thing on my own time, just drawing, there's no way in heck I would just go, hey, I think I'm gonna make this look like it's packaged because that would be so much fun. This is just like something really fun and interesting that I end up pushing myself to do, and I think I'm copying out. And even though it's a cop-out illustration idea, I think in the end it was really fun and interesting, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it's something that I wouldn't normally do. So take that, boring idea. Prompt series is at it again, making me do stuff that I wouldn't normally do. Anyways, so we get to do the most fun thing that I love doing, and that's putting blood splatters on my illustrations. Oh my gosh, I love doing it so much. Especially, like I said earlier, it being October, this is a perfect illustration for that. You think it's an innocent little doll? Nope, she's a murderer. I like to think of this as a sort of Toy Story situation where maybe she is just a carpenter, but then when no one's looking, she breaks out of her package and murders people. Love it. I love a dark Toy Story situation. Though I've actually never seen the movie series Chucky, so maybe I don't actually love it, I just like to illustrate it. So once the illustrations were done, I got to cut out the packaging, and the plastic I used to make it look like a doll packaging was the plastic sleeves I used to package up my prints at cons and original art when I mail them off. So I was really excited to think about using that as the plastic because I honestly had no idea what I was going to use. Glued it all together with some cardboard to separate the packaging from the illustration, and boom, you have this really simple yet I think effective, I guess just little effect, and it's really fun. I did mean to put some more labeling, like warnings, and give our title and stuff like that on the packaging, but the stripes were much too dark and I didn't think about that, so I just decided to leave it as the stripes and the name. Oh well, I loved it. I hope you did too. Okay, I'll see you at the end card. Hello and welcome to the end card. Here is everyone's prompt entries for zipper, toolbox, and fish bones. You guys got quite creative with this one, and I was really enjoying seeing your Inktober drawings mixed in with these as well. That said, our first featured artist is Crispy Art, who did a Inktober drawing of fish bones and this girl. She's really cute and these really cool X-ray fish. It's really cool. And Onyx Amarillo, who did a really creepy Inktober drawing for this prompt. That face is very creepy, and I love it. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining in. I know you guys are really busy with Inktober, so it's hard to participate in the prompts. No worries, I look forward to you guys coming back in November. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!